All right, so you wanted to explore some more unconventional careers, and this time we're diving deep into the world of plumbing.
Sounds messy, but I'm intrigued.
Well, get ready for a twist. We're not talking about the plungers and leaky faucets. We're talking about the boss, the head honcho.
The plumbing supervisor. Okay, now that's a career I haven't thought much about.
Me neither. But RoleCatcher had a ton of info on it, and it turns out it's way more than meets the eye. Way more than I expected, actually.
It's one of those roles that often flies under the radar. People don't realize how much goes into it.
Exactly. Like, I always pictured a plumbing supervisor, with their toolbox fixing pipes all day.
Right, the hands-on approach?
Yeah, but RoleCatcher really emphasized the management and leadership side of it. It's about overseeing entire operations.
Absolutely. Think about the scale of some projects. High-rises, hospitals, even industrial plants. The plumbing systems in those places are incredibly complex.
That's true. I never really thought about it like that. And they're the ones responsible for making sure everything's up to code, right? All those building regulations.
Exactly. Building codes are crucial. They ensure safety and functionality. A good plumbing supervisor needs to know those codes like the back of their hand.
Wow, so it's a lot of responsibility then.
Oh, absolutely. They're basically running their own mini business within a larger construction project. Managing teams, coordinating with other trades like electricians and carpenters.
So you need to be a people person too, not just a plumbing expert.
You got it. It's a very collaborative role.
Huh.
And on top of that, there's the problem-solving aspect.
Right, because things don't always go according to plan on a job site.
Exactly. A burst pipe, a faulty valve, a sudden design change you need to think on your feet and come up with solutions, often under pressure.
That sounds pretty intense.
It can be. It's a fast-paced environment that requires you to be adaptable and think critically.
So not your average 9 to 5 desk job. This is more running around, putting out fires, both literally and figuratively.
Exactly. Every day is different. Every project brings its own set of challenges. But that's what makes it so interesting, in my opinion.
So you need to have a certain personality type to thrive in this kind of role. Someone who likes a challenge.
Definitely. Someone who enjoys problem solving, who can stay calm under pressure, and who can lead and motivate a team.
And let's not forget, you need to be a lifelong learner because building codes change, new materials are introduced, and now you've got all this smart technology in plumbing too.
Oh, absolutely. Digital plumbing systems are changing the game. We're talking smart irrigation, leak detection systems, the works.
Wow, I had no idea. It's like plumbing is entering the digital age.
It absolutely is. And for a plumbing supervisor, that means staying up to date on the latest technologies, troubleshooting issues, maybe even training their team on new systems.
Okay, so on top of everything else, they need to be tech savvy too. This role is sounding more demanding by the minute.
It definitely has its challenges, but the job outlook is fantastic, which RoleCatcher highlighted. They said there's a steady demand for skilled professionals.
Which makes sense, right? Construction is booming, our infrastructure is aging, and everybody needs plumbing.
Exactly. And it's not just new construction driving the demand. Think about all the renovations, repairs, upgrades. That's a constant need. In fact, I was looking at the Bureau of Labor Statistics earlier.
Hold on, you have stats on this.
Always. They're projecting that employment for plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters, which includes plumbing supervisors, is going to grow by 10% between 2022 and 2032.
10%? Wow, that's huge.
Right. Much faster than the average for other occupations.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a career path with some serious staying power.
That's good to know. Job security is definitely something to consider these days. But like you said, it's not without its challenges, and RoleCatcher didn't shy away from that.
Definitely not. They actually dedicated a whole section to the pros and cons of the job, which I thought was really helpful to give a balanced view.
Totally. So on the plus side, they mention the high level of responsibility, which some people love.
Right. Being in charge, making decisions. It's appealing to a certain personality type.
And then, of course, there's the opportunity to lead a team, which, again, for the right person, that's a huge plus. Yeah, like if you're someone who likes to take charge and really make an impact.
Exactly. And speaking of impact, another pro they mentioned is the potential for growth.
Right. It's not like you're stuck in a dead-end job. There's a clear path to move up.
You start as an apprentice, work your way up to journeyman, and then eventually you can become a supervisor yourself.
So there's room to learn and grow throughout your career.
Absolutely. You're constantly picking up new skills, especially with how technology is changing the field. They even called it digital plumbing systems.
Digital plumbing, huh? Now that's not something you hear every day.
Right. We're talking smart irrigation, systems that detect leaks before they become major problems, all sorts of high-tech stuff.
Wow, I'm learning so much today. Plumbing is way more advanced than I realized.
It really is. And for a plumbing supervisor, that means staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah, because you can't be leading a team if you're stuck in the Stone Age, right?
Exactly. You need to know how to troubleshoot those new systems, train your team, maybe even install some of it yourself.
So, on top of everything else, you got to be a tech whiz too. This job just keeps getting more interesting.
Well, that's where some of the cons come in. RoleCatcher was pretty upfront about those too. One thing they emphasized was the constant need for learning.
Which, to be fair, could be a pro for some people. I mean, I love learning new things.
True, but it depends on your personality. Some people find it exciting, others find it overwhelming.
I guess that makes sense. There's definitely a lot to keep up with in this field.
Absolutely. Building codes change, new materials are always coming out, and then there's the whole technology aspect we just talked about.
Right. It's not like you learn everything once and you're good to go. It's a continuous process.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And on top of all that, you've got the day-to-day challenges of the job itself. RoleCatcher had a whole section on that, what a day in the life looks like for a plumbing supervisor.
Okay, so walk me through it. What's a typical day like?
Well, it usually starts with reviewing blueprints, coordinating with the other teams on site. You've got electricians, carpenters, all working together.
So it's a very collaborative environment.
Oh, for sure. Lots of communication involved. And then you've got the on-site supervision, making sure the work is being done correctly, safely, according to those all-important building codes.
Right, because one wrong move could lead to some serious problems down the line.
Exactly. And of course, there are always those unexpected emergencies that pop up. A pipe bursts, a valve malfunctions.
Just like you're constantly putting out fires.
That's a great way to put it. You need to be able to think fast and adapt to whatever comes your way. One minute you're troubleshooting a drainage issue, the next you're dealing with a scheduling conflict or a material shortage.
Sounds like you need some serious problem-solving skills to handle all that.
Absolutely. And not just technical problem solving, but those softer skills too.
Right, like what? Communication, teamwork, all that good stuff.
Exactly. You're leading a team, so you need to be able to communicate effectively, delegate tasks, motivate people.
It's like being a manager in any other field, just with the added bonus of plumbing emergencies.
Pretty much. You've also got to be good with clients, because sometimes you're dealing with them directly too.
I hadn't even thought about that aspect of it.
Oh yeah, it's not just about pipes and wrenches. You need those people skills to really excel in this role.
I'm starting to realize that a plumbing supervisor wears a lot of hats. It's a much more multifaceted job than I ever imagined.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
But for the right person, those multiple facets are part of what makes it so rewarding. You're constantly challenged, constantly learning, and at the end of the day, you're playing a vital role in building and maintaining essential systems.
And speaking of finding the right people for the job, I was really impressed with RoleCatcher's resources for job seekers. Their interview prep section was like a goldmine of information.
I know, right? They had all these common interview questions specific to plumbing supervisors, along with tips on how to answer them effectively.
Like, what kind of questions are we talking about here?
Well, for example, one question was, describe a time you had to deal with a difficult plumbing issue under pressure. How did you handle it?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it?
Exactly. They want to see how you handle pressure, how you problem solve, and they're also testing your technical knowledge all at the same time.
So, what would a good answer to that question even sound like?
A strong answer would involve a specific example from your experience. You'd describe the challenge you faced, the steps you took to diagnose and solve the problem, and of course, the outcome.
It's like telling a mini story to demonstrate your skills.
Precisely. You're showcasing your thought process, your technical abilities, and your ability to stay calm under pressure. All essential qualities for a plumbing supervisor.
That's incredibly helpful. I'm starting to think everyone could benefit from a resource like RoleCatcher, regardless of their career path.
I totally agree. It's not just about finding a job, it's about making informed decisions about your future.
And having the right tools and information can make all the difference.
Absolutely. In this case, RoleCatcher is shedding light on a career path that's often overlooked. But as we've seen, it's full of challenges, rewards, and opportunities for those who are up for it.
It definitely seems like a career path worth considering, especially with that positive job outlook we discussed earlier.
Absolutely. And, it makes you realize that there are so many different paths to success, even ones that might not be on everyone's radar.
So true. And speaking of exploring different options, I was intrigued by RoleCatcher's section on alternative titles. Basically, even if you decide that plumbing supervisor isn't the perfect fit, you still walk away with a better understanding of related careers in those industries.
I love that they included that. It's like they've thought of everything to help people make informed decisions.
It's refreshing, honestly. Instead of just focusing on one specific job, they're giving you a broader perspective on the whole field.
It's about empowering people to find the best fit for their skills and interests.
Exactly. And in this case, they've really opened our eyes to the world of a plumbing supervisor, a career that, let's be honest, most of us probably didn't give much thought to before.
I know I didn't.
Eh,
But it just goes to show you that there's so much to discover about different careers, even ones that might seem ordinary on the surface.
Yeah.
There's always more than meets the eye.
Yeah, it's like you go in with these preconceived notions, but then you dig a little deeper and you're like, wow, I had no idea.
It's so true. And it's not just plumbing either. I think a lot of skilled trades get overlooked or underestimated.
Totally. People don't realize how much skill and knowledge goes into these jobs. It's not just about, being handy. It's about problem solving, critical thinking, being adaptable.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the physical demands. It's hard work, but there's a real sense of accomplishment that comes with it.
Right. Like you're building something tangible, something that people rely on every day.
Exactly. It's something to be proud of. And with the demand for skilled trades growing the way it is, it's a great time to be in those fields.
Absolutely. And for those who are considering it, I think RoleCatcher's insights are invaluable. They don't just give you the basics, they really paint a complete picture of what to expect.
It's like they've taken all the guesswork out of it. You come away with a much clearer understanding of the job, the industry, the whole nine yards.
Speaking of which, I loved that they included that section on alternative titles. Just in case someone decides that plumbing supervisor isn't the perfect fit, they still walk away with some other options.
It's so smart. They're basically saying, hey, even if this specific role isn't for you,
Mhm.
there might be something else in this field that is.
Exactly. It broadens your horizons, helps you explore different paths, because not everyone knows exactly what they want to do right off the bat.
And even if you do, it's good to see what else is out there. You might discover something you never even considered before.
Totally. So to wrap things up, I think it's safe to say that RoleCatcher has given us a whole new appreciation for the role of a plumbing supervisor.
100%. It's definitely not a job to be overlooked. It's challenging, it's rewarding, and it's a vital part of our communities.
Well said. And who knows, maybe we've inspired some future plumbing supervisors out there today.
I hope so. The world always needs more skilled and dedicated people in the trades.
Absolutely. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep an open mind about the incredible variety of careers out there.